Good evening, G1s. I am Master Wayne for another G1 interview, and I am joined by a G1 comedy legend that is Asai Nero Tran. How you doing this evening, mate?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I've not done the Ice Bucket Challenge yet, so I'm all in suspense. I'm doing mine tomorrow. I've seen yours. How did it go?
It was a lot colder than I thought it would be. I thought I would handle it better being that I'm Canadian, but that was still so cold. It was cold to the point that I had to do it a second time because I forgot to name some of the people I wanted to name. But the bright side is I did donate a second time because of that. So it is a good cause. Please donate to the cause. http://www.alsa.org.
Just remind us, who did you nominate again?
The second time I nominated Brian Baker, Nick Kramer, and Ben Singer, and my friend Megan from Fanfare Jewelry. So Brian, Nick, and Ben from Screw Attack, and my friend Megan from Fanfare Jewelry, which is a shop on Etsy.
Fantastic! I can't wait to see their videos and what they do with the challenge. So we're diving in straight in with the.
Me neither.
I guess that's why you nominated him. So, how did you discover ScrewAttack.com?
It was weird. I was on, I forgot what website it was, but it was some like nothing website, and then I saw some of the original side scrollers. This was back in like 2006, 2007, something like that. And I started watching I started listening to some of the side scrollers because that was when it was still audio. And then I think Screw Attack had a thing with 1UP where, like with 1UP.com, one of the subsidiary websites for IGN, where Craig was waiting outside of a Best Buy for a PS3 for like a whole week. And I remember like during that week, Craig talked about how Handsome Tom, was at the Playboy Mansion for like a business meeting, and he was like, I'm stuck outside in a tent waiting in front of Best Buy while Tom is at the Playboy Mansion. And then like when I officially joined Screw Attack, I'd been a browser on Newgrounds, and I saw Brennel Floss, and then I went to Brennel Floss' YouTube channel, and then he had the beginning of one of his videos. He was like, Scroobity-Doo-Attack.com, and I was like, oh, that's a website. I know that website. Let me check it out. And it was like version 3 or 4 at the time, and I was like, oh, I like this, so I'm gonna join up and be a part of this, and it's been a roller coaster ever since.
It has to be one of the best decisions I ever made.
Same here, man. I made a lot of my really good friends through Screw Attack, like Tom and Kelly and Shelby, and Hybrid Rain, Gerardo. A lot of really good friends through Screw Attack.
What is your favorite show on Screw Attack, and why?
That's kind of tough. I'd have to say I'm a really big fan of VGVs because they're the types of videos that I would like to be able to do, like picking a retro game, talking about it for a couple of minutes, and being able to hit all the main points while being fresh and interesting and different about it. Yeah, probably that. A very close runner-up would be Rebooted Retro, which was the show Craig did, and then Jared did all the rest of the shows before he left. That was a really fun show. It was just, I guess it's hard to think of more games where there's a reboot and a retro version to be able to do that kind of comparison. But I like that show a lot too.
Who is your favorite Screw Attack member of staff?
Oh man, that's like me picking between children. That's so hard. I like everyone there. Everyone there is a really good friend of mine. I will say, the first member of Screw Attack that became friends with me, like, outside of just me being on the website and like being a G1 and then being on the site, was Destin. And then after, like, we talked like offline or online and stuff, and then we met in real life and we talked and stuff, and it was cool. Destin was the first person on Screw Attack to become my friend in real life, and then it was Chad, and then Sean Hines, and then Sam, and then Sean Boland, like everyone, and then it's just like a flood of everybody else. So like I said, it's hard. That's like picking between children because they're all my friends. But unofficially, Destin was the first guy to become my friend in real life. So if I have to ultimately choose one, Destin was the guy who made that jump.
Destin it is. I can only accept your first answer. Okay, what was the last thing on Screw Attack that made you laugh?
The last thing on Screw It. They had they had today actually. They were at PAX playing Costume Quest 2, and some of the commentary was just really ridiculous, like on their live stream. I can't even remember some of the stuff they said. It was just like I was just mind blown at the stuff that was happening, and the game was super hilarious. And Midnight City was on that stream with them, which was really cool. So I guess that their Costume Quest stream from earlier today, or Costume Quest 2.
If there's anything on the site that you could change, what would it be?
I don't know. I really don't know. I guess I would make the comment system back to what it was when the awesome dudes over at Designzillas were doing it. Like the guys who are running the site now are really awesome. Like they got the notifications to work, and like subscriptions are a thing, and it's like a really cool site. I liked the comment system from version 5 more than the current one. Like if I had an ideal choice, it would be some kind of combination of version 4, which is where I cut my teeth joining the site, and version 5, where everything kind of came together to make a site that was good at promoting your own content, and then promoting the Screw Attack content, and then being a part of everything. So it would be somewhere between those two, some kind of amalgamation of those two versions.
Okay, and that ends the Screw Attack portion of the interview. Wow. Okay, so we're going to dive straight in to your personal videos, your works, which are hilarious, I've got to say. Spent a lot of time
Thank
watching
you
them
so
today.
much.
They're awesome. So I'm going to talk about the top 10 comic book games. How did you come up with that idea?
Oh man, I was actually having this conversation with my friend, and we were talking about, as my friend Two Face, he has his own YouTube channel, youtube.com/and then the number 2 and then PHACE. My friend Marlon, that's his name, and we were actually talking about like good comic book games and stuff, and then like we were talking, like it was off of like movie games and then comic book games and then stuff like that, and I was just like, I don't know, like I'd have to make a list, and then it kind of just clicked, and I started writing it one night, and then it just kind of took off over time, and that video was recorded over a set of 3 nights in 3 different locations. Actually, the end of like a good part of that video I had filmed. It's insane. I was on the flight back from Con Bravo. I had to leave Con Bravo early because I was ill. Like I got hospitalized when I was on Hamilton, and I had to leave early, and I felt really bad. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finish this video and I'm gonna put it up right now. And there was Wi-Fi on the plane and stuff, so I recorded part of that video on the plane. People were just looking at me because I'm on the plane, and I'm like, Dragon Ball Z Budokai is the best Dragon Ball game ever, and like they're like, what is this guy talking about? And I'd look over to them, and I'd be like, I was like super just dying at the time, so I'd be like, this is for work, leave me alone. But the concept of the idea was just like, as most of my videos are, it's just conversations I have with my friends and things we'd like, oh, that would be interesting to see, or we should do that.
Although I think that Little Nemo should have made the list. Even though it is a comic strip, it should have made the list.
I know, I love that game. I almost did put it on the list because the first comic books were like there's like those Garfield like compilation books where it's just all the comic strips in book form. Like I almost put it on the list because those were the first comic books. Like if you look back at the history of comic books, I'm sorry, I'm a huge comic book fan, but like the first comic books were comic strips all compiled into a book form. So I almost put it on the list because of that. But I thought it wouldn't be fair because there are plenty of other games out there. And there are games I already wanted on the list that I couldn't put, like Spider-Man 2.
My favourite comic book game was on the list, the Arkham series. I'm not going to tell anybody where it is on the list. They've got to find that out for themselves. It's got to be one of the greatest series of all time.
Absolutely, man. I felt weird putting on the list because I've been so critical of the games themselves, like as Batman games, as games based upon the intellectual property of Batman, they're really, really good. Like I really enjoy all the Easter eggs and the fresh character designs, and they brought back Hamill and Conroy and all those people, and then they got, whenever the original voice actress for Harley Quinn left, they got Tara Strong, who's an amazing voice actress, to replace her. Like I really do think they're good games in terms of being Batman games. But it felt weird for me to put them on the list because I've been so critical about them because I was like, if these did not have Batman's face slapped all over them, if this was just called like Ted Origins and then Ted City, it wouldn't have been as good because I didn't personally think the gameplay was all that amazing, but it was still the best that Batman ever got. And it was a lot better than anything Superman ever did. So, that.
Which brings me to another point. No Superman 64. I am heartbroken.
Superman 64 had a cameo right at the very beginning when I'm talking about. I literally put it in the video underneath the audio of me saying comic book games are awesome and they're usually really good, and there's Superman 64 and then you're flying through rings and then you bump into a building, like the Superman, like I was playing and then I bumped into a building or something, I don't remember, and then I just fall straight through the water. I don't swim, I don't just splash around and drown, I just fall through the water and just die. Like, and so I put that part right underneath the the audio of me saying comic book games are awesome.
Well, they don't call him Man of Steel for nothing.
Yeah, Man of Steel. Man, the more I watch that movie, the less I like it. But that's a story for another time.
The top 5 Americans in gaming. I love that list. How did that one come around? Especially number 5.
Number 5. Oh, man. What's number 5 again?
It was the Duke Nukem entry, which you didn't pick.
That's right. My friend Graham. He was just stupid. He wrote all this crap, and I was just like, what is this?
I'm going to read it.
I'm not going to... Yeah, I really was like... He was like, I tried to sound like you when I wrote it. I was like, I don't sound like this. This is nothing like me.
What was that word he used, and we didn't know what it was? Like pistachio or something?
A pastiche.
Pastiche. That's it.
I looked it up after I recorded the audio. A pastiche is another word for an amalgamation. It is a combination, a compilation, everything coming together, a polymerization, if you will.
That makes all the sense in the world to me. And I've just recently watched your Legend of the Mystical Ninja kind of review, and I laughed my balls off.
My comedy reviews. Thank you so much for watching that. I don't ever know if people like the things that I make, because like when I make videos, I do it just because I want to do it. Like, I didn't start, like, okay, like, YouTube is pretty much my full-time job now. Like, I make money off of doing it and off of, like sponsorships and stuff and ad revenue. I don't ever make videos. I try to make videos that I think fans would like, but in the end, it always boils down to, what do I want to watch? What would I think is funny? And I make those videos because that's how my YouTube channel started. Like, I wanted to make videos that I enjoyed, that I liked, that I thought were interesting. If other people liked it, that was cool. And then that's just, like, I don't know. All my videos kind of came together, and whatever I make, when I started doing Asai Nero Trans, the quote-unquote reviews, which I just call Asai Nero Tran videos, they're really a compilation of things that I think would be really funny for me to watch later. And when other people enjoy it, I really do feel good that they can, partake in something that I find so much joy in. So thank you so much for watching that, and I'm glad you liked it.
And I'm still waiting for my ninja stars, by the way.
Oh, yeah, they're in the mail right now. Your shuriken are on their way.
Excellent. My favourite part of that video was the wooby woobs.
Oh, yeah,
Woobity
the wibbity wobbity woos.
Yeah, that's it. And they're dancing around the screen, and there's a shot of you just dropping your control pad, walking outside your house, and then you just hear yourself screaming. That's my favourite bit of that video.
Yeah, that was all real. I really went outside and I really did scream outside, and my neighbors were really outside looking at me. And then, like, if I have the raw footage of that video, you'll hear the door open back up, and then you'll hear my neighbor, whose name is Joey, and he'll be like, "Sai, are you okay?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I stubbed my toe." And I just go back in like nothing just happened.
What are your plans for the future?
Well, right now, the immediate future is I'm hoping I have 4 or 5 scripts in the works right now. One of them is half done and half recorded, and it is a collaborative video with a sponsored a website that sponsored the video. So that's totally sweet. I just need to wait upon the other half of the video because that's not on me to do. It is a top 10. I'll say that much. I'll say that much. It's a top 10.
Yes.
I'm working on the next Asai Nero Tran, which is literally driving me insane because of the game that I'm playing. I don't even know how to begin without telling you. Okay, let me put it this way. The music, without saying anything about the game, and I wonder if anyone will be able to get this just from this, the music literally sounds like this at the very first level. And it's like 7 hours of that, like, playing, and I'm losing my mind trying to play it and write stuff for it. And then I'll tell you this much about what I'm planning up next. I'm going to do my favorite games per console in a series of videos, and I really want that to be a good set of videos that people can enjoy, because I get asked that question a lot. Like, questions I get asked a lot is like, oh, what's your favorite game? What's this and that? And I always have this fallback answer of, oh, A Link to the Past is my favorite game, which it is. I don't want to play A Link to the Past every single day, so it depends on my mood, and it's always like, oh, I want to play NES today, I want to play Wii U today, I want to play this and that. So this set of videos coming up after all of that is just to be like every single mainstream American console that is not still getting games, I'll say what my favorite game on those systems are. So it's everything from NES all the way up until the PS2. It's not including PS3, 360, PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, because those are still getting games. For the long-term future, I have a lot more collaborative works coming up. Hopefully I'll be able to get some merchandise out, because I've been designing some merchandise. I hope that it sees some kind of platform that people can purchase and support me and whatnot. And I'm also starting up a band with my friend Dakota, who is the wonderful, wonderful musician, the friend that I have, and I've been writing lyrics with him. We've been working on this thing for about 6 months now, so keep an eye out soon for that album.
Wow, you're so much planned for the future. You heard it all here first.
G1 Interviews exclusive.
So, thus ends your personal works questions. And now we get to take a little breather and bring out the big guns in gaming confessions.
Yeah.
Asai Nero Tran, have you got any gaming confessions you wish to confess?
All right. The big one, the biggest one in my opinion. I do not think Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda game, and I don't even think it's the second best. I don't even think it's like the third best. It is just a really, really good game, and whenever I say that to people, they look at me like, blasphemy! That's the game that was the hallmark in gaming, and I'm like, that's the game that made Zelda what it is today, which is not good. This hallmark staple of a game it's that game's fault. It's Ocarina of Time's fault for the existence of Twilight Princess, which, another one of my gamer confessions, Twilight Princess is a miserable piece of crap game, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it with every fiber of my being. I hate that one, and then slightly less than that one, I hate Skyward Sword. But there's something about Twilight Princess that I hate. And both of those games only exist because of Ocarina of Time. So it's Ocarina of Time's fault.
What would be the best Zelda game?
Link to the Past, I said this earlier. Link to the Past is the best. And then it's Majora's Mask. And then it's the original Zelda. And then it's Ocarina of Time. Okay? Actually... Wow. Wait, then it's Minish Cap, then it's Ocarina of Time.
There we go.
That's right. That's the definitive list right there. Video, boom.
Would you like to get anything else off your chest?
I don't like Halo. I liked Halo 1-ish. Like, I was like, oh, this is a good game. They finally made FPS games on console work. That's cool. And then Halo 2, markedly better. I liked the maps. but I hated Halo 2 because the end of the story of Halo 2 was so stupid. Halo 3 literally did not need to exist because it only existed because they didn't pan out the end of Halo 2 and make it a complete game. So Halo 2 ended up being it ended prematurely. So that game was bad because of that. Even though it had the best multiplayer maps, I hated 3 because it was stupid and didn't need to exist. Reach was okay, but not like, oh, I like Halo now. It was just like I played Reach enough and I got good enough to troll at it, and I only played it because my friend Lauren, who is on Twitter at Kamikaze Kirby, and she was at SGC with me in 2013, and everyone thought she was my girlfriend, and I just never corrected them. Oh God. Yeah, I played Reach with her, and I just troll so hard. I'll just throw a grenade at a truck or a warthog, and I'll just drive into the battlefield, and I'll just destroy everything, and I'll be like, I win! And then 4, I didn't care for it, didn't like it. I thought it was just whatever. It made 3... The fact that 4 exists made 3 even worse, because he was supposed to make the ultimate sacrifice in 3, and now he didn't, because that makes Master Chief a pussy. Can I cuss on this show? I guess it's too late for that. Yeah, Master Chief's a pussy. And then, I'll say this. 5 has me intrigued. 5 has me relatively intrigued. But I don't want to commit to 5 before I see anything else of it. Because it's purely because the box, or the art that they showed. I was like, this looks kind of cool. But you can't judge a game based on its art, like concept art. Yeah.
Rant over.
Yeah, Halo. Does this segment just go on as long as I continue to have confessions?
We can stop anytime you want to stop, mate. Got a lot of fury built up inside. Need to let that out.
Final Fantasy VI is overrated.
Yay!
Final Fantasy VI, that the game that everyone, not everyone, but like a quarter of the people who exist in life who love Final Fantasy will say that 6 is the best. Okay, so 25% say 6, 25% say 7, 25% say 8, and then the rest say 10. First of all, those people who say 10 are wrong. Second of all, those people who say 8 are dead wrong, because 8 is a miserable piece of shit game. I never wanted to go into a video game and punch a main character more than I did when I played 8. I'll get back to Final Fantasy 6 here in a second. Final Fantasy 8, okay. Squall is all like, oh, I'm so sad, I'm so depressed, things are so wrong, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, we're in the middle of battle! We're fighting a boss right now, and you put your sword down and act like a little bitch about, like, my mother left me, or something stupid. I don't even remember. I've tried to block out as much of Final Fantasy VIII as I can from my brain, because I hate that game so much. Like, people complain about Final Fantasy VII, right? I love Final Fantasy VII, right? It's like a guilty pleasure game. It was the first PlayStation game that I beat on my own, and it was massive. I loved it to the point where I had it before I had a memory card. I just left my PlayStation on for like 3 weeks before I finally got a memory card to save the game and turn my system off for like a week before I went back to playing the game so that my system wouldn't explode, right? I love Final Fantasy VII. And people complain about it, like, with good reason. They're like, Cloud is just a depressed guy. Vincent's just depressed. Like, this Sephiroth was just stupid and depressed, even though he was like a cool villain. He was just depressed. Every character in Final Fantasy was depressed. Oh, Barrett had a depressing story about his friend who also had a gun for an arm. His name was Dine. Like, okay, that's a whole lot of depression, right? I get it. I see it. I understand that's not for everybody. Those same people will go play 8 and be like, Final Fantasy 8's the best game ever. When fucking Squall Leonhardt has all of the same depression, like, distributed among those 4 characters in one. He's the most terrible video game character in the whole Final Fantasy series, maybe in video games ever, because he's just so annoying. And the only time he was worth a damn was in Kingdom Hearts when he was a support character. And it didn't even mean anything because you couldn't even play as him. He didn't do anything. Cloud was still better in Kingdom Hearts, especially Kingdom Hearts 2, because Cloud's all like, oh, I'm going to fight Sephiroth after you kick Sephiroth's ass. And that was cool as shit. But Leon was just like, oh, I have to watch the Hollow Bastion. Fuck that guy. And Final Fantasy VI is super overrated too. Now back to Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VI is super overrated because, yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I loved it. But it's so overrated because everyone's like, just change the landscape of 16-bit RPGs. No, it didn't. It did not change the landscape of 16-bit RPGs because 16-bit RPGs barely existed after that game. The game that changed the landscape for 16-bit RPGs is Chrono Trigger. And Chrono Trigger got overlooked because of Final Fantasy VI. And that is the problem I have with Final Fantasy VI. Chrono Trigger is an amazing game, and the fact that it exists, the fact that the concept, the guy from Dragon Ball, the guy from Dragon Warrior / Dragon Quest, if you're after Dragon Warrior 7, which is the last one that was named Dragon Warrior and always Dragon Quest in Japan, and the dude from Final Fantasy all came together to make a video game. That trio, that amazing triforce of RPG amazingness, them coming together, the idea of it blows anything that Final Fantasy VI even ever did out of the water. And then they did make a game, and they made Chrono Trigger, and Chrono Trigger is infinitely better than 6. That's why Final Fantasy 6 is overrated. And fuck Final Fantasy 8.
Bam! That was a hell of a gaming confession.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on before the world explodes. And we get the Final Fantasy fanboys after us. Okay.
Flame shields up. Flame shields all the way up.
Okay, what is your favorite system of all time?
Super Nintendo. Specifically, I like the PAL one, and I like the Super Famicom. The American Super Nintendo is really cool, and I love it, and I still have the one that I had when I was a kid. It's the dumbest reason. I think the controller looks cooler for the PAL and the Japanese Super Famicom because the buttons are all different colors.
Yeah.
Instead of 2 shades of purple.
I have one of those. A European PAL.
Yeah.
I love mine. It's all stained and everything.
I don't know why people's Super Nintendos get all like yellowed out. My old one, which is like over 21 years old now, or whatever, it's super old. That system is still like pristine. Maybe I'm just good at taking care of my game. I don't know.
Take good care of it.
Yeah.
What game are you playing at the minute?
I've been playing a lot of the Uncharted games again, and I've also been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I was playing Ground Zeroes. I can only beat that game so many times. I played PT and Five Nights at Freddy's. PT, like the Silent Hill teaser on PlayStation 4. Oh, and well, I'll get to that in a second. PT was okay for the first like 10 minutes, and then it started being bland, but it was promising. Five Nights at Freddy's was really scary, but I don't like it because the type of scary that it is just like they're jump scares.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of those. Like the game is legitimately scary whenever you are like whenever you're just waiting for them to like run up to your door. But the moment they got to my door and I like flicked the light and they were there and there's like that sour like musical note like wah, like that's when I wasn't scared because I was like, that's just a jump scare. I just don't care. Like, but the tension of it before that was really good. And I've also been playing a lot of Killer Instinct on the new one.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I'll take anybody in the world challenged.
Well, do you have a gamer tag?
Asai Nero. It's just Asai Nero Tran. Just take off the Tran. That's it.
And he's taking on all comers. Get in there, people.
Yeah, come on, bring it on.
Your treasured gaming possession, what have you brought for us this evening?
I have brought my Super Nintendo, and inside the Super Nintendo is the cartridge Link to the Past that I have had since childhood. This particular cartridge that I'm showing actually does not work. It broke sometime last year. Yeah, it broke, but I kept it because it's my childhood cartridge, and it will always be with me because I love it, and so many memories stored with that cartridge. When it broke, I actually looked up online where I could buy a Link to the Past in box. The closest place was Austin, Texas, so I made the drive, like the multiple hour drive out to Austin, Texas, and I was like, excuse me, do you have Link to the Past in box? And they were like, yes, we do. And I was like, I'll take it. And they were like, really? It's like a few $100. And I was like, listen to me. I've driven all the way here for this. I will buy that game. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to buy this one, which was Link to the Past and the Four Swords on Game Boy Advance. And I was like, now I have this one too. So that's how much I love Link to the Past, is that I made a road trip to Austin purely to buy Link to the Past whenever my cartridge from my childhood broke. And that's the one I'm showing you guys.
That is true dedication right there.
Yeah. Well, I always talk so fondly of it when I'm like, oh, this game shaped my childhood and stuff like that. That's not like hyperbole. That is what the game did. Like the way that I see friendship and helping people and stuff and not asking for anything in return. A lot of that is rooted in like me playing as Link and him doing stuff for people and like them like, oh, thank you so much. And sometimes they wouldn't give you anything for helping them. And it was just like, okay, that's fine. I did a good thing. So a lot of the way I am now is rooted in Link to the Past. It doesn't like, there's other stuff that built upon that, but that's where the seeds were planted.
That's awesome stuff. And we move on to the last segment of the interview. The dreaded G1 question. Are you ready for this?
I'm always ready, baby. Come on.
Okay. G1 Gaming Tank wants to know, what is the worst game you have played with a good, decent soundtrack?
I want to say Fester's Quest. I really want to say Fester's Quest. Fester's Quest has a really awesome soundtrack. But another part of me, because I'm an asshole, I also want to say Mega Man 3. Because that was another one of my gamer confessions that I didn't get to say, is I don't like Mega Man 3. I think it's the worst Mega Man of the bunch. And I think it has an amazing soundtrack. But, I don't know, it's a toss-up. I guess if I'm going off of bad game, yeah, Fester's Quest. Fester's Quest sounds amazing. And it plays like shit.
Excellent. G1 Fire Hazard 51 says, what is your guilty pleasure gaming? I know we covered this before.
Guilty pleasure gaming.
Final Fantasy VII.
Outside of what I said about Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
Oh man. You know what? I have one. I like playing any games with my family, and because my family, they're not as into games as me, they have this bad habit of playing and buying games that are really shitty. One of my favorite memories is with my brother Chris. He and I were playing Kung Fu Rider, the PlayStation Move game, where you're rolling downhill in an office chair and stuff. And it's such a terrible game, but one of my favorite memories is playing that game with him, because seeing how happy that game made him made me happy that something that I love so much, namely video games as a whole, could affect my brother so deeply. And like that was a bonding moment for me and him. And at the same time, I got to play that with my nephews, his two kids, and that was a bonding moment for me and them as well. So that's one of my anytime I play video games with my family members, whatever game it is, whether it be a good game or a bad game, I love those games. I love those moments. Those are what I live for in gaming.
G1 Icy Paul wants to know, what video game has made you swear the most during gameplay because of its difficulty?
Oh, because of difficulty, not because of...
What game has infuriated you beyond belief?
Can I have a multi-part one? Like, this game was hard but good, and then this game was hard because it was terrible, and then this game, I swore at it, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, can I do that one? Okay,
yeah,
a game that was hard but good that made me swear a lot was it was probably Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 is that kind of game for me. No. Punch Out. Punch Out made me swear so much. Son of a bitch, Mike Tyson. Fuck that guy. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Dream. But whatever. Like, that guy made me swear so much, but I love that game. It's just so difficult. Like, the last two, Tyson, and I forgot the guy who was right before him. I think it was Bald Bull. Whoever was right before Tyson in the NES Punch-Out, that game made me swear so much. Like, I don't know how, but I was a young kid. I still managed to just come out of nowhere and just be like, fuck! As like a 4-year-old. out of nowhere, and they would just be like, "What?" A game that made me swear a lot because it was a terrible game and poorly made is Dragon Ball Z Sagas on the GameCube, and there's actually video of me on my channel playing that game, and there is a swear counter. And not a swear counter. It is purely the number of times I say the word fuck. So it doesn't count the times that I say shit, bitch, like, and all those other swear words, ass. It just counts the time that I say fuck, of which there are many in this half-hour video. It is a terrible made game. That game made me swear so much because it was terrible. It was fuck that game. And then a game that I swore at, like, in a good way, would be Little Nemo. I
love that game.
Why wasn't this fucking game amazing and like a series? Like, this game's fucking cool. That Little Nemo. Always Little Nemo.
That's my favorite game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It's just perfect.
Oh yeah, it's a good choice, man. It is easily one of the best hidden gems ever, not just on NES. It is an amazing game.
And we reach the last question of the G1 questions. As always, comes from G1 A Zero to Hero, and he wants to know your turn-ons.
My turn-ons?
Yeah,
for,
what gets you excited?
Like,
anything.
Anything?
First thing that comes to mind.
This is going to be really lame, but... Okay, first, in a physical way, if a girl has a really pretty face, I can overlook if she doesn't have, like, the best body. I can't go the other way. I can't date, or I can't be in a relationship with a butterface girl, like a girl who has a really smoking hot bod, but she has like an face. I can't do it because I have to kiss that face if I'm in a relationship. So I can't do it. After that, what really, really makes it for me is like their personality and like their ability to carry a conversation. Like, it's a super lame cop out, but I've been with chicks that are like super hot, or like, you know, I'll say they're super hot. I don't know if my taste is different than people's, but I've been with a girl that I thought was super hot, and she was so stupid, and that relationship was over lightning quick. Like, I don't know if we made it to a month, but it was because she was dumb, just stupid, and she couldn't hold a conversation for her life. Sex was great, but like, that's like totally, like, that's a nothing. Like, that's like 10% of what you should bring to the table in a relationship. Your ability to, like, the more I like your personality, the more I like your ability to carry conversation, the more physically attractive you become to me. So, like, that's an important thing to me, is that. I also like, if I maybe get a little explicit, I like when a girl scratches on my back during sex. Like, she just claws at me. That's fucking great. Like, I dig that. That was cool. The worst I ever had it was a girl clawed me and like she made me bleed, and I was like, ah. It was amazing. It was great. When they wrap their legs around your waist and they squeeze.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy. You wanted to get into this question of Zero to Hero. I got an answer for you. I have nothing to hide. I'm for real on this. Yeah, what? You want to know more? Follow me on Twitter and ask me on Twitter at Asai Nero Tran. Boom. I got answers all day.
That is the end of the interview. I'm crying. Thank you for joining me this evening, Mr. Asai Nero Tran. It's been a great interview.
Also, if you like a link to the past, if you like a link to the past, you can get a dick too. Bam. Thank you so much for having me on this show.
It has been a pleasure, my friend.
I'm sorry if I've ruined anyone's day.
That's great. I have been Master Wayne on G1 Interviews for G1 Features. Have a good night, my friends.
Bye.